Despite the fact that he's only played 85 games in his NBA career, Zion Williamson has been one of the most impressive basketball players I have ever seen. Every level of the game he's played at, he's been one of the most dominant, from high school to AAU to college to even the NBA. He's done things that I didn't think were possible for an athlete in the NBA, which makes the fact that he's missed so much time with injury even more frustrating, not only for us fans, but also for him as someone who loves the game of basketball and has put the hours in to make it to this point. And the thing is, he's still extremely young. He's only 22 years old. With a full offseason to recover from injury, with a good team around him, we could see something historic out of Zion Williamson this upcoming season. There are only 5 players in NBA history to average at least 20 points a game while shooting at least 60% from the field in a single season. Those players are Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kevin McHale, Shaquille O'Neal, and Zion Williamson. Here's what makes Zion doing it even more impressive though. He's by far the youngest of these 5 to do it at just 20 years old. While Wilt Chamberlain was 30, Kareem was 32, McHale was 29 and 30 in the 2 seasons he did it, and Shaq was 32 and 33 in the 2 seasons that he did it. In fact, the season that Zion accomplished this feat, he was younger than the other 4 players were when they were rookies in the NBA. Zion also has the highest point per game mark of the 5 as he averaged 27 points per game in that season. At just 20 years old, we saw Zion Williamson do something that NBA hasn't really seen a player this young do. In fact, he's 10 plus years younger than 4 Hall of Famers when they accomplished this feat, which is just insane to think about. In fact, Zion doing what he's been able to do in his basketball career from a physical standpoint and a skill standpoint is impressive for his age. People don't talk enough about the fact that Zion was a young player for his recruiting class and one of the youngest players in his draft class. To put some perspective on how young Zion was entering the league, he was a year or close to a year younger than Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Scottie Barnes, and Jalen Suggs were when they were drafted. And that's not a knock against any of those players. In fact, it just says everything about Zion being really good at a really young age. It's something that goes under the radar because he's had a grown man frame since he was 15 years old, but it's not something that should go unnoticed either. Speaking of things that shouldn't go unnoticed, athleticism is something that will never go unnoticed with Zion Williamson. It's the biggest selling point of his game from a marketing perspective, and it's one of 2 big factors that really make him a generational talent in my opinion. He's an insane vertical athlete. I don't think it takes rocket science to figure that one out. You have to watch 2 minutes of a highlight reel and you will know just how great of a vertical athlete he is. But what makes Zion a special athlete, in my opinion, is his movement skills and quickness at his size. He's built like a defensive tackle, and to see a 270 to 280 pound human being move like a shooting guard in the open floor is mind-boggling. He has a good first step, he's extremely strong, and that combination with that kind of frame is rare, and it's part of the reason why he's so unstoppable. And it leads to a lot of highlights and posters, but that's not the only reason that Zion is a special talent. If being a great athlete was all it took to be an elite talent, we would see a lot more Zion Williamsons in the NBA. But the thing is, there is only one Zion Williamson, and that's because on top of being a generational athlete, he is insanely skilled as a basketball player. His skill as a player is very underrated. His handle is really good for a power forward. His passing ability is really good as well. He has good vision and has a good understanding of his monstrous scoring gravity. On top of that, it's not just about his powerful dunks either. His touch around the basket is really good, and he has good footwork on top of that. It doesn't matter how many defenders you throw at him either. His insane efficiency and production, despite teams knowing that he really only scores from one area of the court, is telling to just how dominant he is. Either he's scoring or he's getting to the free throw line. Those are really the only 2 options when he gets into the paint, no matter how many defenders you throw at him. Now, he's not a good shooter, but he is willing to take him when open, and I do think that there is area to grow in this regard. And again, his efficiency and production, despite a good jumper, really goes to show you how unstoppable he is. When the only other player you can look at to compare his dominance as a paint scorer to among current players is Giannis, that really tells you something. I can't overstate how absurd it is to have arguably the best player in the world be the only one who has paint scoring dominance that's comparable to someone's age 20 season. The only thing holding Zion back is injuries, and even then I think he has the skill to be a great player, even if injuries take away some of his athleticism, which honestly, I don't even think that's the case. Injuries haven't slowed Zion's production at all up to this point, and I think we could see something even more insane this upcoming season, which really says something when you look at his numbers already. Zion isn't a player who developed into this dominant force over the years in the NBA. He entered the league and immediately showed he was one of the two most dominant paint scorers in basketball at 19 years old coming off an injury. He accomplished something at 20 years old that was only accomplished previously by Hall of Famers when they were in their 30s. He had one of the most dominant freshman seasons in college basketball history. He's had one of the most dominant starts to an NBA career statistically. Dominant might not even do it justice when you talk about Zion. He goes against the norms of what modern basketball is. He's not a jump shooting floor spacer. He's a paint beast. And the only other player I can think of that's currently playing in the NBA that can dominate a game like that while not being known as a jump shooter happens to be the best player in the world. There is no ceiling for a player like Zion Williamson, because to be quite honest with you, there is no player like Zion Williamson. I can't even imagine how good he could be if he's this good already at this young an age, and that speaks volumes to just how much he's shown in a small sample. He's barely played a full season's worth of games in his young career, and I'm this confident in him being one of the best players in the world. That should speak to just how good of a player he is already, and how good he can be. And NBA defenses are going to have nightmares this upcoming season. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, notified whenever I release a video. I'm making videos about basketball all the time, so if you like basketball, I really think you'd enjoy this channel, and liking and subscribing are the best way it can help support me and help me grow as a channel so I can make more content for you guys in the future. If you want to see other content that I make, well, you can check out my video essay channel. I haven't uploaded there in a month, but I do have a big project planned over there that I'm working on that should be up by the end of the month or early in October. Long form video essays about anime and cartoons over there. So if you want to check that out, link to that channel in the description below and in the pinned comment. 2 videos from that channel will be popping up over here. One of them about Classroom of the Elite. The other one about Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Click the icon in the middle to subscribe if you haven't already, or check out other videos, or you can click the video here that YouTube is recommending from this channel if you want to check that out. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.